Lightning like Steve McQueen. I'm in the fast lane when the light turns green. And I built tough, I ain't nothing but grit. Cause I made rugged blood, sweat, and spit. Yeah, like a horse I fly. Better push yourself in for a bumpy ride. I like to play hard, but I work harder. And I weather the storm cause I'm built stronger.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Morning Show, the top morning show in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines and to provide some actual insight into what all of this information means. Obviously, there's a lot of shit going on in the world right now. There's a lot of uncertainty in the market and everything else. But at the end of the day, you guys, we need solutions. And if this is your first time tuning in to my content here, you guys, this is brought to you by transportation professionals for transportation professionals. There is no theory on any of my content on my weekday live show, you guys, or my twice a week long form podcast interviews over under the Coffee with the Freight Coach umbrella. With it is, you guys, we're just here to talk about solutions. We're here to talk about information to keep people in business no matter what. It's one of the many reasons why I proudly fly the American flag behind me every single day. Not only is this the greatest nation on earth, but I'm living my American dream, and I want to help each and every one of you guys live your American dream as well. If you guys aren't subscribed, if you guys aren't checking out, like I put all the replays and everything over on the YouTube channel, which is under the Freight Coach. And then all the audio only version is going to be over on the Coffee with the Freight Coach podcast on iTunes and Spotify. And if you guys aren't already subscribed down there, go out there, subscribe and share the show if you guys see value in this. All right. At the end of the day, you guys, this is what it's all about, is a value exchange. And if you see value in it, though, chances are your network's going to see value in it as well. Before we jump into everything, I got to give a shout out to my friends over at VHub. You guys, vhubapp.com. They're the ones who keep this neon light on behind me every single day and make this show possible. It doesn't matter if you're a broker, carrier, or shipper alike. We all need access to trailers at some point in time, especially right now with rising fuel costs and repair costs and maintenance and everything. You should never have to shut your operation down because you have a trailer in the shop. And you can get on there, you guys, and you can get paid to move these trailers. So with what they're working on right now, you guys, they have Glade Spring, Virginia to Orting, Washington. It's a brand new dry van, $1,550 to move that trailer. That's on top of the revenue that you can get by loading out that trailer. They also have it picking up in Glade Spring, Virginia, going up to Delta, British Columbia. Again, $1,850 to do that. And then they also have Salt Lake City or West Valley City, Utah, going up to Calgary, Alberta. And you can get that for $1,550 as well, you guys. And that's on top of the revenue that you get by loading out that trailer. So hit them up, you guys. vhubapp.com. My friends Xavier Campos and my friend Stacy Steen, they'll be in the audience. Just do me a favor. Let them know that the Freight Coach sent you. What's going on over here on YouTube? Montre Lincoln, good morning to you. Thanks for joining. April Maroney, good fucking morning. Let's go. Good to see you back here again today. Steven Peterson, what's up, my man? Good morning. Let's fucking go. We are at day 168 of the Freight Coach morning show, you guys. And that's also the 168th reminder that there are truck parking issues as well as facilities issues in this industries. And, at the end of the day, you guys, our drivers need us to advocate for them and get them access to showers, right? Like basic stuff, food. How about that? Stuff that we never think twice about. That's what our drivers are up against out there on the road every single day, on top of weather and traffic and everything else. So again, you guys, we got to come together as an industry and make these changes because no one's coming to save us. Also, just a subtle reminder that diesel is at $5.14 a gallon. It's up $1.42 a gallon year over year. I get that information from the EIA, you guys, EIA.gov. I don't like to report on it because I know it sucks for all of the hardworking men and women behind the wheel who are paying at the pump for this right now. But, it's just got to keep bringing it up every single day. And this is also going to be a solo show today. I believe I got a guest locked in for later this week, again, around the holidays and everything, you guys. I know everybody's busy right now, and I try and accommodate that, but I'm not going to not show up because I don't have guests. I'm going to show up every single day. I'm under the weather right now. Still, I'm getting over it. I'm almost over this fucking cold. All right. It's brutal. I hate it. I turn into a large child when I'm sick. I'll be the first one to admit it. But yeah, it's getting there. All right, we're going to do a little Pacific Northwest market update. And what we're doing with this, you guys, is I just call out random lanes. And it is, if we're going after a freight market and everything, and we're looking to price stuff out, with what we got going on out in the Seattle, Washington area. Obviously, Pacific Northwest right now, you guys, it's a hot freight market. It's Christmas tree season. A lot of people are looking to get up in there and get that freight. So outbound Seattle right now, reefer market, if we're looking at the prior 8 days of what we're seeing out here, it's pretty tight capacity. It's only reporting 200 trucks to 800 loads. So again, obviously, what does that mean? If you're a driver out there, you have the bargaining power. The demand of your truck is never going to be greater than right now. And there's more loads than there are trucks out there. Also, if you're a broker and you're out there looking at this from a pricing perspective, this is going to hold firm here probably through, I would bet about the 20th of December is probably when those last bundles of Christmas tree shipments go out of there. So that market's going to remain firm. And then you can also count in Oregon into that as well. It's the entire Pacific Northwest freight market is always tight around this time when it comes to it. But, sending freight into it, that's going to help out there with your rates going in. And again, carriers are, you get up there and you get that money coming into that market. And then also we're looking at Whitney's not in the audience right now, but they're usually out there. He's out of Utah. We're going to do Salt Lake City, Utah reefer. Right now, it is very tight capacity as well. And that one has more trucks to loads right now. So again, that's where that bargaining power starts to tip. If you're playing in the spot market, now this is generally spot market freight, so it's not contracted rates. This doesn't necessarily affect your contract. But for your spot market rates as a whole, it looks like it's going to remain that way because if we're looking at the last 8 days, there has been more trucks to loads in Salt Lake dang near for the last 30 days. So again, that market probably isn't going to change anytime soon based off of the historical data that I'm looking at right here. So yeah, be aware of that. And again, you guys, with the holiday coming up, you guys, capacity tightens up around this time normally. A lot of you are probably feeling the holiday hangover, if you will, from Thanksgiving. A lot of drivers aren't moving, right? Like they're at home, they're sitting at home, they might hang out for a few more days at home. So that's going to affect capacity. You have to be aware of that. And then again, if you're out there running this freight right now, you have to be talking to your carrier partners about what their holiday schedule looks like, because freight will be affected throughout the remainder of this year. Capacity is not going to be what it is. It happens every single year around Christmas. And it's like every single year, it's just the greatest shock ever that rates increase around the holidays and capacity decreases around the holidays. No, that's just what happens. All right. Sorry about that. I had to get a drink of coffee in me, but yeah, you guys. And then again, it's like, this is how a normal freight market operates. All right. I know that it sucks because it's not easy anymore, right? It's not easy, brokers, when you're cold calling people right now. And and it's not easy when carriers are pushing back on rates and everything. It's not easy, but guess what? Nothing is easy. You guys, and that was like the whole point of the post that I put out there earlier today about the video that I put out there is it's like obviously you guys didn't appreciate the freight when it was easy because you're complaining about it that it's gone. Because if you were working as hard as you thought you were, and again, you guys, I use myself as a lot of these examples, right? I'm not calling out anybody in particular, but when you think business is easy, you take it for granted, right? You think it's like that's the way it's always going to be. Freight's going to be, you're like, oh, I call all these customers and they're just setting me up right now. This is the way it's always going to be. That's just not the case, because when the market flips, and if you're truly not that badass that you think you are, guess what? The freight goes away. But if you are executing, if you are operating the way that we all like to fucking tell ourselves, freight never goes away. Freight's always plentiful because freight is still moving no matter what. All right. And that's what you got to tell yourself during these times, because it's not, and it's, guess what? It's not going to be fucking easy. Next year, this is where the true players come out. All right. This is where the true providers flourish, is in these markets, because the failures that you might have gotten away with, can't get away with them anymore. You're going to get kicked out of network real fucking quick. You fall below, if you're on an RFP customer, you fall below their metrics for a consistent amount of time, there's no do-overs. You're done. At least that's the way that it was. That's the way that I feel like it's going to continue to be, because capacity is loose. There's trucks out there that are willing to move freight in a lot of the markets, and you got to show up, and you got to be a provider, a true partner And if you're adding value, if you're truly that badass like you want to tell yourself, you'll be all right. Don't worry about it. All right, let's get to some articles there. That's my daily rant. Louis, what's going on, brother? Thanks for joining me. Good morning. Sonny Sharma, Orange Shirt Gang. That's right. Let's fucking go. And for those of you who are wondering where that is, I wear an orange shirt everywhere. I wear the backwards hat everywhere because how the fuck else am I supposed to stand out in a crowd and get noticed when I'm walking around somewhere and everybody's dressed the fucking same? That's why I do this. It's a way to stand out. And frankly, I love wearing a backwards hat every day because this is just who I am. And a lot of us need to just get back to being who you are and being unapologetically yourself. And that is something that I can say is I am unapologetically myself every single day. All right. First article. And I'm going to be actually having this company on my podcast here coming up. It's this article is from ttnews.com. And this is about Wreaths Across America gears up for its December 17th event. If you're not familiar with Wreaths Across America, get familiar with them. They are a phenomenal organization and what they do. 37-year veteran truck driver J.D. Walker looks forward to December every year. Despite dealing with the grief of losing his 21-year-old son, Marine Lance Corporal Jeffrey D. Walker in Iraq while conducting a combat operations on May 14th of 2007. He was always the life of the party, said Walker, himself a U.S. Navy veteran. I guess he took that away from his father. He was always very family-oriented, and it gets easier over the years, but you never forget. Obviously, Wreaths Across America is out there supporting military families and everything. And, you know, you guys, it's one of those things. This industry is full of veterans, whether they're on the driver's side, the operations side, they're everywhere. And not only do we need to support our veterans no matter what, they're also coming in and working in the greatest industry in the world, in the trucking industry as well. It's a big connection out there. Let me see. I'll get back to the article there. Helping to ease his pain in the volunteer work Walker is doing this month, as he has done for the past 7 years. He donates several weeks of his time to transport thousands of cemetery wreaths from Columbia Falls, Maine, and that was where the headquarters of the Wreaths Across America is, to Arlington National Cemetery. I do this to honor our fallen veterans and all the veterans throughout the U.S. That are active, inactive, and in the reserves. This brings me a lot of comfort to do this every year. It's a way to honor and respect and teach. Wreaths Across America is scheduled for December 17th, and an estimated 2.5 million wreaths will be delivered from Maine to more than 3,700 cemeteries. The program reaches all 50 states and several U.S. territories, among them Guam, Puerto Rico, and Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. Hundreds of thousands of people volunteer for the event every year, including an estimated 80,000 at Arlington National Cemetery in 2018, placing wreaths on the graves of an estimated 400,000 service members in a driving rain and nearly freezing temperatures. This is very family friendly. You can bring children of all children in large families. They're actually placing these wreaths on the headstones, saying the names out loud, participating in the goodwill and fellowship that happens on that day. Wreaths Across America Director of Transportation Don Queenie had told Transport Topics. And it's the simplest way to get involved and to find a cemetery near you, and that is participating. It can be done on our website, wreathsacrossamerica.org, and make plans to be out there on December 17th. Yeah, I was actually just at Arlington National Cemetery back in a couple weeks ago. And I sat there and I got to see the change of the guard at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, and just walking around there for a while. And it's, you know, you can't put it into words. You just cannot put it into words what walking through Arlington will do for you as a person, and what this organization does for all the military families that are out there it's what's needed. You know, it brings back what I think is the most important piece of this, is like the ultimate sacrifice that our soldiers make for us throughout every single year, selflessly putting their lives on the line to protect us and keep us safe. And not only our brave men and women in uniform, but also what the families go through to keep that support going back home. And it's getting involved in that as a whole. And the gentleman, J.D. Walker, says it back in this article, my company is fully supportive of our veterans, and they know about my son. In fact, back in 2019, they surprised me with a fully wrapped military truck as a tribute to honor him and all the unsung military heroes that are out there. And he drives that decorated truck every day. And he says that we couldn't do this without and they say that we couldn't do this without the help and support that we get from the trucking industry. And we're up to 587 tractor trailer loads. And every one of those right now is donated. And that's $7 million worth of value that it is that the industry gives back to this cause as a whole. And they all depart from that convoy in Maine in early to mid-December, and they're escorted by police and military vehicles. And we see the people en route, and you see the people standing there and waving the American flags and getting us and saluting us in the cargo, and they'll be standing there at attention. It's truly a blessing to be participating in this. And while Arlington is the focal point of the Wreaths across America, because it's the status of the country's most prestigious cemetery with 2 presidents, numerous Supreme Court justices, and a myriad of military personnel dating back to the Civil War, that the nonprofit wants to publicize this event to be held across the country. We don't participate only in the national cemeteries, and I'd like to see this used at the cliche that the lonely church on a red dirt road that has 2 veterans laid behind it. Somewhat, it can be a location. Somewhere, anywhere, and in many cases we have locations like that. It just requires a volunteer to stand up and say that they're going to do this. And he goes on to end the article saying that we should not forget those veterans and their sacrifice as they gave so much. And yeah, it's it brings back to what's important in life. Like there's a lot of bullshit that people love to bitch and complain about out there right now, but again, none of it matters in the end. None of it fucking matters. What matters is protecting the families who pay the ultimate sacrifice out there, and really standing up for what they fought for to preserve. Like I'm unapologetically proud to be an American. I'm unapologetically going to stand by the Constitution and what this country was built on and the opportunities that this country has given my family and every family that's come here and immigrated here. I mean, my family is just a few generations ago immigrated here, and my family's fought in the military and served in the military through multiple generations to preserve for me to have the ability to do what I do day in and day out. And I don't take that lightly at all, and it's something that I want us all to bring back to, the way that I was raised on those American ideals and how America is just fucking the greatest place on earth, because it is. And, and it doesn't say that we don't go without faults or anything like that, because what nation doesn't? But this is the most perfect that you will find on earth. And we have to preserve it. We have to honor those who have given the ultimate sacrifice and do these little things like this. And as soon as I'm done here recording, I'm going to sign up to volunteer on there, and here in Arizona on the 17th. So I'll put this link up there as well for people on the YouTube channel, as well as the audio only podcast version. If you want to get out there and you want to volunteer your time on the December 17th to get out there, I'll put that up there. And then again, I'm going to be having Wreaths Across America on the podcast. I'm going to be having them here. I'll probably put that episode out here in the next couple of weeks, because I'm talking to Don later this week, and we'll be doing that. And again, you guys, it's not always about, because I think everybody understands times are tough for people right now. So it's not like you got to go out there and donate money, or, donate your time, volunteer, just do anything and everything to help support each other in need. Cause man, just going back, just helping out your neighbor, that's just the way that I was raised. And I want to see us get back to that. It doesn't matter where you come from or what you are or anything. We got to be there for each other, plain and simple. Don't let other people's fucking opinions who don't give a fuck about the working class, which is us who are listening to this show and watching the show, the hardworking men and women of the trucking industry and the blue collar industry as a whole. That's my audience. Those are my people. The people who are out there talking heads who are driving this division, they don't give a fuck about any of us. They profit off of us hating each other. We don't hate each other. All right. We got to get back to that. We got to get back to helping each other out no matter what. Having your neighbor's back. It doesn't matter what you look like, what you believe in, what you are. You just got to be there to help each other, because we're all fucking Americans at the end of the day. That's what it is. LinkedIn user. I don't know. I'm going with Matt Fink on this, because I know my boy is a veteran. Well, I can't speak for all of 15 million veterans. He says a common thread among us is that we just want to see Americans happy and prosperous. That's what it's all about. And that is what it's all about. It is a land of opportunity. We should all want to see each other prosper. You know, there's enough opportunity for us out for all of us. But again, that article, you guys, from the TT News, and it's about the Wreaths across America. And I'll put that link up there. If you want to get out there and volunteer on the 17th, do that. Volunteer your time. Find out if there's a local cemetery in your neighborhood or around you that you can get out there and do it, you guys. All right. Next article we are going to break down is from fleetowner.com. And this is cybersecurity. White hats offer tips to help execs head off hackers. And yeah, I was actually at the Arlington National Cemeteries because I was brought out to DC for the NMFTA, which for those of you who are not familiar with, is the National Motor Freight Traffic Association. It was on the cybersecurity conference, and there's a lot of stuff out there, you know, and they're Ben Gardner, he's the NMFTA's senior cybersecurity research engineer, bridged the gap between theoretical and practical with the opening slide deck of the conference. Specifically, they outlined his successful remote of attack of a hydraulic braking system of a tractor trailer via the J2497 trailer data bus using about $300 of off-the-shelf electronics. The good news is that he's a good guy and a white hat hacker who looks for vulnerabilities and works to resolve them. And again, that's what the NMFTA is doing a lot of right now. Because again, you guys, like, it's crazy how far away somebody can be from your track and trailer and where it can get. And like the thing that I got the most out of this conference is they're going after everybody, yes, but they're going after the most vulnerable, which is like the 97% of the industry that is small trucking companies, because it's like they would rather get a little bit from a lot of people than try and get a lot from one person. And because it's a lot easier to do it that way. And, you know, again, obviously a lot of your trucks have some of this stuff built in because, you know, like there were some very large brands that were at this conference who are in the OEM space and the manufacturing space, and their senior people where they're talking about what they're doing to protect it. But again, it's like, you can't take cybersecurity for granted. You can't think like, oh, I'm too small, I shouldn't. Every little bit helps. Every little bit helps to keep your truck up and running. Let me see here. And then among the top challenge for the fleets, of course, is that key asset is the truck is mobile. But they discovered in working to resolve truck security vulnerabilities. Today's truck features a lot of technology, yet very few people understand both the software and the heavy-duty hardware of it all. What I explained with multiple fleets was either deferring vehicle cybersecurity decisions to their IT department or not really having anyone deal with cybersecurity vehicle decisions and problems. He said, it's not a stretch to say that a lot of IT people don't get what maintenance people get, and maintenance people understand how the truck works, but don't understand what IT people do. So both sides need to learn from each other and to be able to secure that rolling asset. But as was obvious at the conference, it takes graduate level education and a lot of time pursuing the dark web to understand and mitigate the threats. Surely it's beyond expertise and budgets of even the most tech savvy folks at many fleets. The LTLs are big enough to have enough resources to have their own IT, their own in-house software development and stuff like that. But they need to start taking more of an industrial control system approach, make their maintenance where their maintenance and IT staff consider both IT and how things roll, and give their unified security perspective to their operations. And for the rest of us, if you're small and you can't spend the money to hire the experts, use cloud services. By purchasing that solution, you're going to have the security teams doing the work for you. So that's a big bang for the buck. And that's a good thing to take into consideration is, you know, although it might have a little bit of upfront sticker shock, you got to look at the future cost of what it will do to your organization by not having it. That's the way, you know, again, you guys, I'm a small startup as well. I'm self-funding, I'm bootstrapping all of this stuff. I don't have investors. Every dollar that I make is pumped back into my business to protect me and everything in that regard. So I understand, but I also look at what will it cost me if I don't have these systems in place. So again, you guys, fleetowner.com, that was on cybersecurity, and the white hats offer tips to help execs head off hackers. And again, that's something that you can just buy off the shelf. There are some off the shelf software. Contact the NMFTA if you have any questions about that. And they have a lot of information for you guys as a whole. And again, That article was from Fleet Owner, and I will put the links to the articles, as always, you guys, I put them up in the Freight Coach YouTube channel, as well as the audio only replay version of this on the Coffee with the Freight Coach podcast, which is on iTunes and Spotify. And again, if you can help your boy out and subscribe and share and rank this stuff, that's all I can ask from you guys at the end of the day. And you guys are the best, so you guys will definitely do this. And now the third and final article is with from FreightWaves, and it's a Texas carrier and HR company settle sex discrimination suit. They agree to pay $90,000 to a former female recruiter. It's just articles like this just always get my blood boiling. You know, it's just like, fuck you if you're going to do that to somebody, man or woman. If you're going to discriminate against them in any way, shape, or form, fuck you. You know, like it's just fucking drives me up the wall that there's men in there. And again, I get DMs from people, from females in this industry that say that people above them try and use their position of power over them to solicit them for services. It's like, fuck off. You know, like you're a giant piece of shit if you do that. Like that, like I can't put it any other way. If you use your position to try and take advantage of people in any way, shape, or form, especially your female colleagues, and you know exactly what I'm fucking saying right now, fuck yourself. Anyways, back to the article. A Texas carrier and human resource provider recently agreed to pay $90,000 to a former female recruiter who said she was treated differently from her male colleagues because of her gender. Out West Express and American One, a professional service provider, agreed to a settlement to voluntarily resolve this. And then we're glad to resolve this matter through voluntary compliance, which benefits the recruiter, the companies, and the public interest. And the acting director of the EEOC's St. Louis district said in the news release, Out West Express and American One Source have agreed to provide appropriate relief and improve their workplace policies. In addition to providing monetary relief to the recruiter, Out West Express and American One Source will train their supervisors and employees to report to the EEOC for 3 years. Out West Express operates a couple hundred trucks, according to the FMCSA. The agreement resolves that retaliation with them and from a female recruiter who said that she was fired immediately after complaining that her boss frequently cursed and ridiculed her. The recruiter who wasn't named, was hired by American One Source and worked at Out West Express terminal in Kansas City, Missouri. And her job was to recruit, train new truck drivers. The woman alleged that during her 3 months of employment, her boss repeatedly cursed and ridiculed her, but did not treat the male employees in a similar demeaning manner. She also alleged that when she complained to Human Resources about the treatment, she was fired the next morning. Yeah, that's obviously not a good look for that company. And I'm assuming that other people are in the same boat as this individual. Again, I'm not going to speculate or anything like that, but it's good that it was resolved. And I hope, again, I can only hope that it actually does change for the people who are currently working there, because if this person stood up, I can only imagine the amount of people who are there who haven't said anything yet and who are living under fear and everything else out of retaliation and everything. But yeah, shit like this just makes my blood boil. It really fucking does, because if you use your position of any way, shape, or form to intimidate, berate, harass in any form, you're a giant piece of shit. There's no other way to put it. Again, you guys had articles from freightwaves.com, Texas carrier, HR company, settle sex discrimination lawsuit. But that's it for today. Sonny Sharma, he said Zemzings will be signing up to volunteer here in Fresno, California. That's awesome. I'm going to be signing up to volunteer here in Phoenix, Arizona on the 17th. And again, I asked that if you guys could do the same. I'll put that link to that up there. But that's it for today, you guys. The Freight Coach Morning Show. We are the top morning show in transportation. And if you guys did see value in the show, share the show. That's all I can ask you guys, because if you guys see value in it, your network's going to see value in it as well. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and we'll be talking to you soon.